Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver Roman Wilson, who basically missed his entire rookie season, and also inside linebacker Cole Holcomb, who was injured this entire year with a knee injury, have returned to practice and could be activated to the main roster and return before the end of the season. So, on top of this, the Pittsburgh Steelers, there's talks of maybe resting their starters for this week's game against the Cincinnati Bengals, and this is the reason why they shouldn't. But first, before I get more into that, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn notifications for everything Pittsburgh Steelers news and updates. Also like this video. Now, let's get right back into it. So, let's start off with the injuries, because they could be getting back these two players who basically missed this entire season. So Roman Wilson, let's start off with him, because he got injured in training camp. The very first padded practice of this offseason, Roman Wilson went down with an ankle injury. And then he missed all of preseason, and he missed some of the regular season. And then a few weeks into the regular season, he played in a game. He only played like 5 snaps, and he looked fine. He was back from the ankle injury, but then the next week, following in practice, once again, a practice injury, he got injured, and it was his hamstring this time. And ever since that, he was placed on injured reserve and has missed this entire season up to this point. But today, he has returned to practice, and it could be great to get him back. So before we get more into what it would take for him to get back on the field and everything like that, let me move over to Cole Holcomb, because his is a little bit interesting as well. Because last season, if you remember, Keanu Neal, he went in and he hit Cole Holcomb when trying to make a tackle, and you look at Cole Holcomb, his entire knee basically tore. His knee went backwards, it did not look great, and he missed the entire season, and now he has returned to practice as well. It's great to see him back on the football field. This one may be a little bit more of a stretch in terms of him actually returning this season, but getting him back on the football field and returning to practice is a great next step, because he was a great inside linebacker, really good, really solid coverage and tackler and hard hitter when he was playing last season, and it's great to have him back on the football field whether he returns this season or not, because it's a great story. That could have been a career ender, tearing basically everything in your knee and having to have many surgeries and things like that. It could be a career ender. So getting him back on the football field is a great next step to his recovery and a great next step to him returning to the football field and returning to the NFL games. So Cole Holcomb is great to have him back. But going back now to Roman Wilson, because Roman Wilson is interesting, because you would think that an ankle injury would not take about like 7 weeks to recover from. And then you would think a hamstring injury. I believe it was week 3 he got a hamstring injury, week 4, somewhere there. So you would think it wouldn't take 11 plus weeks for a hamstring injury to heal. I don't know why he's been on injury reserve that long with a hamstring injury. It really doesn't make sense. I guess they're just being cautious. They didn't want to rush it back. But that just doesn't make sense for him being on a injury reserve for like 11 plus weeks with a hamstring injury, unless it was like a grade 3, grade above that tear. But he has returned. And Roman Wilson, he's missed basically the entire rookie season. We look at Calvin Austin, he missed his entire rookie season. Really, Roman Wilson only played a few snaps here and there. I guess you could say he missed the entire season. And many people call him a bust. But you get to a point where how can someone be a bust in their rookie season if they haven't played? That doesn't make sense. Usually calling someone a bust is they're not a good player. But if they're injured, you can't detail if they're a good player or not. You look at Calvin Austin, many people said, oh, it's a bust. He was a rookie, he got injured, he's a bust. Now look at him. He's stepping up, becoming the Steelers' number 2 receiver. He's not a bust. You can't be a bust if you don't end up playing. So until he plays, until we see him on the football field, he's still a player recovered from injury. Injuries happen, and let's see how he plays when he's back on the field. I'm sure next season he'll be given opportunities, just like Calvin Austin was given opportunities his second year back, his first year back off of injury. So Roman Wilson will be given the same. And me personally, do I believe he'll have an impact if he returns this season to the football field, if he returns before the playoffs? Because he does have a really good chance. Cole Holcomb is that player where it's just like, oh, he may not return this season, but he's great to have him back in practice. But Roman Wilson has a chance to play. He's been out for a long time, and those injuries shouldn't be taking that long. So he has a chance to return and be activated to the main roster, but does he really have a chance to play? Probably not, because he's a slot receiver. Terrell Austin has been stepping up big time. Can he replace Mike Williams outside? Probably not. At this point, Van Jefferson, they love using him in those blocking scenarios, things like that. So Scotty Miller is a guy they like using in the run game to block as well, and the speed guy. So he has a long shot to play Roman Wilson this season in terms of actually being active on game day and things like that. But it's great to have him back, and he could return to this main roster, but seeing the football field will be harder for him. Anyway, it's just great having these players back in practice, great seeing them return, and great seeing the explosiveness, because this is the most explosive in the little videos, the little film from practice that Roman Wilson has looked all season since his injury. So it's great to see that, and then it's great just to see Cole Holcomb back on the football field after everything he's been through, surgeries, rehab, and all. So those are your injury updates. Also, a quick one as well, Logan Lee is another rookie who's basically missed his entire rookie season since he got injured, but he has returned to practice as well. His 21-day window of practice has been opened. You also look at Joey Porter Jr., he's back at practice as well, but the main ones are Cole Holcomb and Roman Wilson. So that's your update. Now let's talk about the Steelers resting some players. Will the Steelers rest some starters against the Cincinnati Bengals after they see the Ravens win against the Cleveland Browns? So that's a big topic, because Ravens play before the Steelers. So if Ravens win that game, the Steelers have no chance of winning the AFC North, and they could just rest their starters. They could rest their players, Russell Wilson, TJ Watt, Cameron Hayward, whoever. They could just rest their players because they have no shot of winning the AFC North. But when you think of that, that just doesn't make sense. The Steelers lost 3 weeks in a row. They played awful, both offense and defense. You want some sort of momentum heading into the playoffs, at least getting the win. You don't want to lose 4 straight games heading into the playoffs. You want some momentum and some kind of unique plays that get the team going and like, okay, we could do this again. So obviously, in my eyes, you start the players. It doesn't matter if the Ravens win or lose, you start the players. And also, it just doesn't make sense from a wild card standpoint because the Chargers can leap the Steelers and have a better record and they'll face an easier team in the Houston Texans. So that just doesn't make sense. The Steelers could drop if Chargers win and Steelers lose. So you never want to just rest your players and drop in the scenes. You want to stay where you are or elevate. So that doesn't make sense. But Mike Tomlin, he shut that all down anyway. He said that he does not plan to rest anyone. He plans to play his guys, and he wants to have some type of role going on. He mentioned it, the Steelers being on a down streak and not doing good, and he wants some sort of momentum heading into the tournament. That's his own words. He wants momentum heading into the tournament and have his guys rolling. So he's on the same page with me, personally, what I felt like, because that makes total sense. The Steelers have not played well. Why rest some guys? They don't deserve the rest. Yes, they deserve the rest in terms of 3 games in 11 days, 3 games in 10 days, whatever like that. But in terms of winning, they could get rest when the season's over. The season's almost over. There's only 5 more games left. If they make it to the Super Bowl, 4 more games left if they make it to the Super Bowl. So you want to have the guys rolling, and after the season they can rest. This is a time where you step up and play up big time. So Mike Tomlin, he shuts it all down, says the team is not looking at the Ravens to determine if the Steelers players will play. They will play, and they want to get some type of momentum going. So anyway, that's the end of this video, but let me know your thoughts down in the comments below on both topics of this video. The return of Roman Wilson and Cole Holcomb. Do you think they'll end up on the main roster this season? And who do you think can have a big impact if they do return? Do you think Roman Wilson can be a good receiver in this league? Do you call him a bust, even though I don't? And also, what's your thoughts on Cole Holcomb returning to this inside linebacker group? Do you think he could have an impact on this team next season and end up being a starter and take over for like Elandon Roberts? Because Cole Holcomb was supposed to be that starter when he first arrived and that main guy. Can he return to that? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And also let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you believe if the Ravens if the Ravens win, the Steelers should rest their players? I don't, but let me know your thoughts. Anyway, that's it for me, but make sure you subscribe to this channel and turn notifications for everything Pittsburgh Steelers news, updates, highlights, and analysis reports. Everything surrounding the Pittsburgh Steelers heading into the playoffs, I'm covering it. But even after the playoffs in the offseason, I cover it as well, just like last year. So the whole cycle for the season is covered by this channel. So stay tuned, like, comment, and subscribe, turn notifications. Until next time, I'll see you guys all later. I'm out. Peace.